For some reason, the pitch-dark ocean depths seem to harbor some of the most weird-looking and terrifying creatures. It's probably for the best though, since you wouldn't want to bump into any of these animals. In this video, the ugliest animal alive, a translucent head, and the world's largest invertebrate. But first, we'll start with this. Number 15. Sea spider.
If you are an arachnophobe, then the thought of a spider the size of your face is probably a bit creepy.
There are over 13,000 sea spider species spread across different parts of the world. Most of these are small and live in fairly shallow waters, but things get a bit uncomfortable the deeper you go. At greater depths of up to 23,000 feet, the spiders get bigger, with leg spans of up to 2.3 feet. A bit uncomfortable, but that isn't the whole purpose of those spindly legs. According to scientists, sea spiders' thin legs create a large surface area to volume ratio, which ensures effective gaseous exchange. They have hearts, but they're apparently too weak to have any significant positive effect on the creature's oxygen content. Despite their name, sea spiders aren't actually spiders, or even arachnids. Number 14. Blobfish. Found off the coast of New Zealand and Australia, the blobfish holds the title of the world's ugliest animal. Looking at this picture, that appears to be true, as the fish is just a gelatinous, gooey mess. But that doesn't actually tell the whole story. In their natural environment, the blobfish have to put up with extreme pressure, about 60 to 120 times what animals at sea level experience. Surviving here requires losing a considerable amount of muscle, which is exactly what happened to the blobfish. Their bodies depend on the immense pressure to maintain a regular shape, so when they're taken out of the water, the resulting decompression makes them look a bit unsightly. Number 13. Stargazer. An inhabitant of salt waters, the stargazer gets its name from having its eyes right on top of its head, so it's always staring at the water right above it. As an ambush predator that partially buries itself on the seafloor, this eye position is pretty effective. The mouth is also upward facing for the same reason, allowing the stargazer to snatch prey passing above it without too much hassle. Additionally, a few stargazer species can deliver electric shocks thanks to a specialized organ behind one of the eyes. That should be enough for you to stay away from the creatures if their weird looks weren't already scary enough. But if the possibility of getting shocked isn't enough of a deterrent, just keep in mind that all stargazers are venomous, although this also doesn't seem bothersome, as they're a delicacy in lots of places around the world. Number 12. Anglerfish. The anglerfish is certainly a top contender as far as ugly animals are concerned, thanks to its big crescent-shaped mouth and a perpetually angry-looking face. The teeth don't help the situation either. Sharp, nail-like, and translucent, they're the seal of approval that indeed the fish is lacking in looks. To hunt in their dark environment, the females have a thin, fleshy growth hanging from their heads that's tipped with a tiny node, a sort of natural light bulb. Lots of animals find that light interesting, so they try to get closer, and that's how they're snatched up. And it usually doesn't matter the size of the animal that falls for this trick. A combination of a large mouth and a highly flexible body means the anglerfish can gulp down prey that's twice their size. Number 11. Giant squid.
Now you can see why they call them the Red Devil or the Red Demon!
With a length of 60 feet and weighing nearly a ton, the giant squid is perhaps the biggest invertebrate on the planet, long enough to snatch prey that's a considerable distance away. You'd think it'll be easy to spot, but nope. It's so rare that scientists have had to do with dead specimens for the longest time now. The first confirmed live specimen was recorded only recently in 2004, and another was captured 2 years later by Japan's National Science Museum. This elusive nature has made studying the giant critters a bit of a problem, and to this day, scientists aren't quite sure about their native range. But given that the carcasses have been found in every ocean, it's safe to assume they're spread around the world. Number 10. Giant Isopod.
Ah! Oh my god, how cool!
Closely related to woodlice or roly-polies, giant isopods patrol the frigid seafloors of the Indian, Atlantic, and Pacific Oceans. There are about 20 species of these frighteningly huge water bugs, growing to as much as 20 inches long, which is about 50 times the size of their closest terrestrial relatives. While they're scavengers, for the most part, their size gives them the luxury of lurching onto any animal passing by and eating as much as possible, behavior that scientists think is due to the general food scarcity on the seafloor. That being said, the giant isopods are pretty hardy, surviving for as much as 5 years without food. Number 9. Frilled Shark. The frilled shark is one of the animals referred to as a living fossil, as it has remained pretty much unchanged for the past 80 million years. As a result, it's remarkably different from the regular, well-known sharks. For instance, the deep sea dweller has a considerably long, eel-like body and spots 6 pairs of gill slits instead of the usual 5. The shark has been found throughout the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, and although it spends much of its time near the seafloor, it routinely travels to the upper regions at night to feed, using its 300 needle-like teeth to hook into prey. Interesting about the frilled shark also is its way of reproduction, where the youngling emerges from their eggs and stay in the mother's body until they can take care of themselves. Number 8. Atlantic wolffish.
The whelk is about to become dinner for my favorite animal, the Atlantic wolffish.
As the name suggests, this bottom-of-the-sea dweller hangs out in the frigid waters of the North Atlantic, although a good deal of them can also be found in the Arctic Ocean. Given the extra frigid waters in these regions, Atlantic wolffish have a natural antifreeze mechanism that ensures that they keep moving even when the lowest readings hit.
He tries my arm to see how it tastes, but dry suits apparently aren't very good eating.
They generally don't pose any danger to human beings as long as they're left alone. Their sharp canine-like teeth, on the other hand, could be the stuff of nightmares to some people. Considering what they eat, they certainly need those teeth. Their diet is made up of hard-bodied and spiny invertebrates like marine snails, sea urchins, and green crabs, all of which can't be cracked open with a less than stellar bite force. Number 7. Colossal Squid. The colossal squid ranks up there with the giant squid as far as the largest invertebrates are concerned. It weighs just over 1,000 pounds and averages between 30 and 33 feet in length, making it quite a formidable predator in its Antarctic Ocean home. Just like its giant squid counterpart, it's quite elusive, to the point that just 3 of them have ever been found since the species was first discovered and described in 1925. So again, there isn't really much info about these deep-sea beasts. We at least know about the eyes though. With diameters of up to 16 inches, the squids have the largest eyes in the animal kingdom. For some perspective, the human eyeball is barely an inch across. Number 6. Ghost shark.
Oh, I think he has parasites. Oh, you
Does
can see
he?
the parasites coming off of him. Oh, it's gross.
Despite the name, ghost sharks aren't actually sharks, but merely close relatives thanks to having cartilage instead of bone. There are about 50 known species, all of which have retreated to the deep waters, probably in a bid not to spook us with their ghostly appearance. While that's thoughtful for most of us, it's quite a bummer for scientists, as these supposed sharks are impossible to study. Since they were discovered in 1953, just a few of them have ever been filmed alive, but the majority are usually caught dead. Nevertheless, scientists have been able to piece together a few details about these fish. For instance, the stitch marks you see here are sensory organs covering the shark's entire body. By sensing small movements and vibrations, the stitches help these sharks pinpoint prey locations. Number 5. Macropenna. The Macropenna has been known to science for some time, but serious interest in the creature increased just recently when footage of the unusual creature emerged. Instead of having its eyes outside the body like most animals, the deep-sea fish has them enclosed in its transparent, fluid-filled forehead. The result is this freak show of an animal that many people have a hard time believing is real. Besides the eyes, you can easily observe the animal's other parts without having to dissect it. Well, that's if you can reach the 2,000-foot depth it stays at. Green in color, the pair of eyes helps the Macropenna easily spot potential prey passing directly above it. The animal itself stays in a horizontal, motionless position most of the time, so the eye's location is pretty ideal, although it is able to rotate its eyes forward. Number 4. Gulper eel.
What's a
The gulper is also referred to as the pelican eel thanks to its large, pelican-like mouth. Although it usually gulps down much smaller prey, the huge mouth allows it to swallow fish much larger than itself. This, scientists have speculated, is a backup plan for when the gulper eel can't find the small crustaceans it's used to. Another intriguing trait of these creatures is their ability to inflate and deflate themselves, something that's been a bit confusing to scientists. A possible explanation for this behavior is that gulper eels will usually inflate when threatened to scare off a potential attacker. Number 3. Goblin shark. While it's been mainly spotted off the coast of Japan, the goblin shark can be found all over the world along continental shelves, easily recognizable by its pink body and the flat, elongated snout. Like all sharks, the snout is covered with special sensing organs called ampullae of Lorenzini that detect the tiniest electrical fields produced by nearby prey. In case there's anything remotely edible, the shark rapidly pops out its highly extendable jaws to grab it. The extendable jaws are particularly useful, seeing as the sharks are too slow to chase prey. And to further increase their chances of success, the jaws are lined with some 50 mean-looking teeth, a nightmare for any of the crustaceans, tail-losed fishes, and cephalopods that the goblin shark preys upon. Number 2. Giant phantom jelly. The giant phantom jelly has been known to humanity since 1899, but just about 110 specimens have ever been collected since then. It's pretty much like any other jellyfish with a bell and arms, but several times bigger. The bell itself is over 3 feet in diameter, while each of the arms stretches to about 33 feet, effectively making the creature one of the biggest invertebrates, along with the likes of giant and colossal squids. Number 1. Sarcastic fringehead. Sarcastic fringeheads are endemic to the Pacific Ocean, particularly around California and Baja California. Here, they're known to establish their homes in structures that have been left behind by other animals, such as shells or burrows. While they're basically just visitors to these homes, sarcastic fringeheads are quite territorial and will become aggressive at the slightest sign of intrusion. The males are particularly notorious for this, since they're the ones that take care of the eggs, protecting them from potential predators until they hatch. Just like in most species, these weird creatures also show hierarchies, mostly when 2 males end up living too close to each other. In such cases, the 2 males try to claim territory by placing their wide open mouths against each other to compare their sizes. The winner is the one with the bigger mouth, which in most cases is also the bigger fringehead.